Hello, my name is Lord Saitan and this is my expanded edition of the tutorial. And this is my sixth map mode I use, and I sometimes go off these six, but this is mainly the one I ever use in the game. Because I don't use Terrain map mode. My default map mode is W, which is the Independent Realms map mode. I know where the different colors belong, and again we are going to go a bit further in these three because I also use these three over here. But I use this to interact. I want to know how big my enemies, neighbors, or potential allies are. I want to know what they own, because sometimes they are owning some part which make no sense that if you look at any other map mode. I also use it in tandem with direct vassal, which is F. But if you look at France, and use this, you can see the direct vassal as I explained before. But if you hold control down and left click, you can go down and see vassal. You're not going to see it for everyone in the world as a direct vassal map mode does, but you can see it for that country. And even better, you can go down under the vassal, such as I want to see what vassal Aquitaine have. The Duke of Aquitaine, who's a multi-holder Duke, and you can see what he owns by doing the same. Hold control down and left click, and then you can see all his vassal and such. Only his, of course, but you can open others. But then then if I can do two things here. I can press W again, which reset. But if I'm down here and I want to see, I want to see how big his realm is. If I'm not having it highlighted, I can hold Control down and press right click instead of left click, and then it goes up a level. And yeah, so really. When I learned about this move, I have not really used that. It's more of a muscle memory, but it's still it's going to be outfaced, I believe. But again, control down, left click, and you can left click again, and you can if you want to go up, you can right click and right click, which you can't do in direct vassal vassal map mode. The next one I'm using fairly often is religion R, in which you if as normal I'm constantly returning to realms, independent realms, to see where I'm located and how big I am. And I use R if I know I'm in a border region such as Spain. I want to know, can I use a holy war? It's casus belli. Go to war with a specific casus belli, which I will go more into that later. But I really use that a lot. And if I'm holding some territories, which is not of my religion, I want to know. Again, as I explained before, the stripes here shows if there's if a ruler is ruling over different subjects. So again, I really use this much. I use T for cultures, as I want. Sometimes it's nice to see where I can expect rebels not to spawn, or I have some angry people, as mentioned before. I don't use this ever to look for those. I use religion, and I use culture, and also because I think personally it's a bit fun to see what kind of culture there's around in the world, such as the Norman culture in north of France. And the last three is connected to each other. It's these three over here: the jure duchies, which is I, the jure kingdoms, which is O, and the jure empires, which is P. Where you can see the different sorts of duchies and kingdoms which you can form. And you need this information if you want to create a new duchy or a kingdom or an empire. You need this information, such as I can create the Kingdom of Leon because if you look at realms, you can see I own this part, and and again I'm pressing I for duchies, and you can see in my kingdom I can create the Duchy of Leon. And in the start of a game, if I'm playing a small kingdom, this is interesting. If I am playing a count and want to expand, I want to know which country I have to take. You need to create a duchy. You need at least 51%, more. That would say more than 50% of the duchy to create it. The same goes for kingdoms, and if we press O, we can find a kingdom. I believe this is not yet formed. No, it ain't. And I might have skipped that. You can also see where exactly the jure are, and you can see here that we need all of these. At the moment, if I'm not choosing the jure, you can see it's just gone. But here it's shown, and you can see we need 50%, at least 50% to form it. Actually, 51. Also, if we show our kingdom, you can, as mentioned before, this is realm mode, where we can see what we actually hold. If we click on the jure, you can see that the kingdom is only this big, and that means that I hold something outside the kingdom. In this case, a part of Castile, and you can see it matches up with the kingdom. And empires, in which you need a bit more to form it. You need actually 80%, and you need 2 kingdoms. You if you're a duke, you need 2. You also need 2 duchies to be able to form a kingdom. If you are a king and you want to form an empire, you need 2 kingdoms to be able to form it. There are some special condition, a few empires which have some special condition, and it's 6. It's Francia, which have this odd rule that you need to hold a kingdom which is not part of the de jure part of Francia. As you can see here, there's 4 kingdoms: Britannica, France, Burgundy, and Aquitaine, and you need to hold a title which is king. But it cannot be any of those of the de jure part, which also means that if I hold 2 kingdoms which is not part of this, and that is if I hold Leon and Castile and hold all 80% of all this, I can actually create Francia. Another empire which have a special condition is the Empire of Italia, which you need to hold the Kingdom of Sicily, which is down here in the Byzantine Empire. The Holy Roman Empire is also is also special because if this gets destroyed, you can't create it again. The Byzantine Empire, you need to be an Orthodox to create it, and and another which is a special empire is the Abyssinia Empire, in which you need to hold, as you can see here, two kingdoms, which is the Jura part of the Abyssinian Empire, but you also need to hold Egypt, which is part of the Arabian Empire. Another empire which is hidden, it's not the Jura, it does not hold any territory of the Jura, but you can find it down here. I will come closer into the difference between those, but if you search for the Latin Empire, which again is hidden, you can see you need to hold some very specific duchies, and the Byzantine Empire are not allowed to exist, and you are either Catholic or a Catholic heresy. And so again, I am using very much what realm, religion, culture, duchies, kingdoms, and empires. And again, if I become, if I'm count or duke, I often look at the duchies because I want to have more under me, and it gives some free declaration of war. Even if I'm a king, I still go after it. And again, if I'm king, I want to hold more kingdoms. And yes, of course, empires as well. It's not necessarily a good thing to hold more than one top title, but I will come closer into that in a later. But again, I always return to a realm, to the W, as I use this way too much, and I can hold an better view of things. At least that's what I feel like. And again, for the rest of these series, I will use the default realm as my default. And yeah, that's it for that's my six map mode I use, and I will see you in the next episode. Have a good day.